Hey everybody, welcome back to the Check Engine Podcast. It's the only podcast produced by three two-time winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. We are hosted at Anchor.fm, but we're sent out everywhere that streams the podcasts that you want to listen to. My name is Nick. With me are my two co-hosts as per usual. Our creator, writer, idea generator dude, Andrew, is here. What's up, man? How you doing?
That was a litany of titles. I'm now intimidated.
But I mean, it's true. I mean, this is a small production here, so we all wear multiple hats.
That's true. That is true.
So it's not. I mean, you do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to be intimidated by what you do on a daily basis.
Those are often the things that are most intimidating.
I was going to say, I'm often intimidated by my job.
Yeah, for sure.
That third voice you hear is our producer, deep thinker, and show namer man, Tristan. What's up?
Show namer man.
Show namer man.
I like that one. That's going to go on the business card.
Show
including
namer
man. Show namer man. I'm not intimidated by that. That one's good.
Good to be back with you guys. What's on the agenda this evening? It's been a minute. It's been a couple of weeks.
A lot has happened since last we were all in a room together. And even more time, it just seems like so much stuff has happened. I don't know. Has it been 2 weeks? Has it been a year? How long has it been since we actually recorded an episode?
The last time we were all in a room together was a real long time ago.
That was, yeah.
Because the last time we recorded,
like a month.
He was calling in from Mississippi.
Yes.
So
it's been a while.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So, a little catch up. We have exclusive reporting from Nick in the field at the biggest race in the world.
One of the biggest races in the world?
One of the bigger races.
One of the bigger races
in the U.S.
It just depends on who you ask. Is it Indianapolis? Is it Daytona? Is it Le Mans? Is it Monaco? Is it...
Yeah, so that I think is going to be interesting, especially because of how it didn't go.
Yeah.
So, but not spoiler alert. But and we got some other, sundry crap to talk about. Things have been afoot in the car world.
Yeah, totally. Big news out of Australia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Big news with Mercedes F1, if you guys didn't hear.
Oh, man.
The old DAS system.
The old DAS. I love how that's now.
A few days.
Okay. A few days old.
We're all over the board. We got to pick one thing. Should we start with that?
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to hit?
Let's just start with the Mercedes F1 thing.
Is it even legal? There are questions about that.
Well, they don't know yet.
Right. That's what I mean. So
it would be illegal.
In the current rules?
No, in the next set of rules.
Okay.
In the 2021 rules, it would be illegal. This is just an example of these brilliant engineers finding loopholes.
Okay, so it's DAS. So
it's dual axis steering. So what basically happens is if you look at the onboard cameras of the Mercedes cars going down straightaways at the Barcelona test, much like your road car where you can pull the steering column towards you if you need to, they can do that on the straightaway, and that will adjust the toe on the front tires down the straightaway.
Unlike your car at home, this is not strictly for comfort. It's more like flying a plane.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's basically like, pitching setting it up theoretically for cornering versus straights, like adjusting how much rubber is actually touching the pavement, right? In very small amounts.
In very small amount. The drag benefits are very minimal. What people are saying the bigger benefit is tire temperature. So you can so by putting more or less contact patch, you can adjust the tire temperature. And if you want to prime it, get it a little bit warmer for a corner for extra grip, you can shove the wheel forward, adjust the toe a tad, and
and I think there's also a lot of things I've been reading about like driver effort. So you can, if you get aggressive. So basically with toe in, it's kind of what it sounds like. If you're standing on the ground and your toes go in, when you're standing there, that's what that means. They're facing inwards.
Yeah, they're pizzaing.
Pizza, not French fries. And for anybody who's ever learned to ski as a child.
Or seen South Park.
True.
French fry when you want a pizza. Gonna have a bad time.
When you are pizzaing, when you're toed in, it makes cornering that much easier.
Yes.
Requires little inputs from the steering wheel to return big inputs into the car. Mm-hmm. However, the downside, why don't they just do it all the time? Well, because you're driving down the road on a straightaway, you've got the tires pointed inwards. They're not rolling the same direction the car is going. Generates a lot of drag, a lot of friction, and a lot of heat and wear on the tires.
And I would imagine it's also less stable at speed. Because remember,
Yes.
F1 cars are doing 200 miles an hour.
Right.
Any little shit like that is going to, at those speeds, with a car that weighs 7 pounds, is going to create a huge difference.
So normally there's always a compromise between how towed in the cars are to keep tire temperatures at the right temperature, to make sure they don't go all over the place on the straightaways.
And that's testing. That's what testing is for.
Right. Yep. And now
they don't necessarily have to have that compromise anymore.
Yep. You can be perfectly, straight down the road when you're on the straightaway and tow it way in when you go into a corner and without getting out of the car and turning a wrench.
Well, and here's where the loophole comes in. The rule book states that teams cannot have adjustable suspension pieces from inside the car. Because now technically these are suspension pieces, but because they are adjusting it using the steering wheel, it is adjustable steering.
Yep. And I would imagine it would probably be a thing where they'd probably make an argument, even if the rule wasn't worded specifically that way, and their argument is the steering. I assume the next argument will be, well, it's not the suspension per se.
No,
it's just it's the wheel attachments. It's not the suspension.
No,
yeah. I mean, okay. So two things about this. The first thing is, obviously, Ferrari is like, what the fuck? And so they put in a inquest or a request for clarification from the stewards.
Yep.
Because they followed that up. Ferrari did by saying, even if this is legal, we would never be able to replicate it until mid-season.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's really not that's not the FIA's problem.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all.
They thought of it, you didn't.
Yeah.
So,
but the other part of it is, okay, fine. We have a rough idea what the system does. Now, in your head, imagine driving a car like that.
Just that the one extra thing to think about. Not just driving a car like we drive a car.
Yes.
Like 200 miles an hour in close quarters with other people.
At Monaco. With a track that's...
zero room for error.
Oh, yeah.
Less than a lane.
I'm just I mean, I would imagine that obviously there's going to... You're not going to be able to tow it all the way to the possible limit of the car.
No.
There's going to be a specific
window.
range of movement, but still, with the speed and the power and the narrowness of those tracks, or Imola, like, there's potential for genuine disaster.
Well, and how does it lock itself? Is there does it lock itself in, or do the drivers just have to concentrate on keeping their arms locked at a certain spot?
Oh, I can't imagine. It
has to lock in somehow. There's got
to be a lever or something. Yeah,
maybe it's only like 2 positions.
Yeah, maybe just...
So during testing, what they're figuring out is like
boink.
Their farthest limit versus what they want to be the flattest point.
We'll see.
That is a lot for Hamilton and Bottas to think about now.
Yeah.
If anyone's capable, it's Lewis, but...
Obviously. But I gotta say, this whole thing, is it cheating? Is it not? Is it legal? Is it not? It doesn't have the same flavor when it's not coming from Italians.
Like when they're the ones doing it?
Yeah.
Getting investigated?
Well, remember that whole thing last year with...
Their fuel?
The fuel, and Ferrari like putting the tarp over the cockpit to keep it cool, and they were like, well, it's cold out, and like, oh, we meant warm. And then like, remember that?
Yes.
And like, no, you can't film like this angle, or like the reverse back of the cockpit.
Yeah.
It's not as fun when the Germans are doing it,
because they tell you we've done this.
Yes, and then they say this is what it is called.
We've done this. This is what it is called. Try to prove us wrong.
There's no denial. Like
no,
it's not that. It's not doing that. That would be.
But there's
that would
video.
Be the Italians. No, there's no video.
Your eyes are lying to you.
That would be the Ferrari, and that's more exciting.
Yeah,
that's funnier, definitely.
Yeah,
it's certainly more entertaining.
But I've been since.
Seems like a lot of effort for 1 year of use, though, because it is definitely illegal starting next year.
That's a really good point. But I guess, I mean, and I have no ability to assess this, I have to assume that this is pointing them to something that then will be legal for the new rules.
That would be they know what's coming down the pipe, so they it has to be like step one or a baseline to something else.
There's always trickle down to like DTM or DTM road cars, like put that on an AMG car. It's like you can have the efficiency, like they would
GT3 cars or something.
It would be automatic, like for a road car. As you turn the wheel, it would decreasing when the speed sensitive steering, where it changes your ratio based on how fast you're going. I'm assuming you could do that. Like as the wheel starts to turn, they toe in so you don't have to go as far.
Or sharpen hybrid handling.
Yeah,
maybe just to get that extra weight, feel a little more exciting around the corners. Whether that's towing it in or out for the correct racing line, making it feel more exciting through the corners.
If there's going to be
so true. Motorsports is it's the test bed for all that stuff. Like
some stuff
that's
arrives,
why
some
they
stuff
do it,
does,
quote unquote. So that's a really good point, Tristan.
And if you can win it all one year,
right,
extend the streak to 7 years in a row.
Yep.
That's really interesting. I don't know. I think it's going to be funny to find out what F1 does. It's intrigue. I'm intrigued. However, if there is no result to the investigation, or if it is kept legal, the season's over
already.
Yep.
For sure, it's over.
well, it is the Germans.
If it works.
I'm saying this might not be likely, but what if it's really prone to breaking?
That's possible. That is a possibility.
This is another breakable piece on their car now. So the reliability.
But everyone said that about,
everything they've done.
Yeah. They've had a run of good luck.
Yeah. It's got to end sometime, right?
Well, that was just what I was going to say.
If they're not done making their own luck, it won't be done.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting to watch, but it doesn't make me want to watch.
I like to watch the politics and read the stories, but I don't watch the racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll watch the first one and just see how close people get to Mercedes.
Well, yeah, exactly.
If they're not close, I'm like, okay, all right, well, here we go again.
Just this understatement in the Guardian article about it. The device has taken Mercedes F1 rivals by surprise.
Surprise.
Oh, has it?
Oh, has it now?
the entire paddock day one of testing was just...
Twitter was a flitter.
Yes, it was.
It was really weird to see, though, because, once the cockpit camera was available, people who know these kind of things, not including myself,
like, they're doing this.
Yeah, they knew what was happening. Mm-hmm. And because it's open wheel, you can
watch it happen.
Yeah, you can kind of see it happen. So if you know about toe in, toe out on wheels and figuring that out, and then it instantly became normalized. Once people figure out what it was just like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yep.
And I was like, that's what they're doing. And people were like, yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, no.
but isn't there like, no, that's
fine. Yeah. They just figured it out.
All right. At times like that, it makes me feel like maybe I don't really know that much about cars or like them that much, because I don't know this stuff.
Yeah, right.
Is there a better way? Should I know all this?
It's just weird because people were saying like, oh man, like as far as once Ferrari gets the aero sorted, because their engine is way better than the Mercedes at this point. That's what people are saying. Like Ferrari has way more power, way more straight line speed, and then people are like, oh man, Honda's on the come up. You see what they did towards the end of last year, all this kind of stuff, and Mercedes like, y'all can have that.
That's fine.
We've got this.
We're still gonna win. See,
so weird.
It's so crazy. All right. In other news, what's next on the list?
Let's go race to race. Let's get the report from the race that didn't happen.
Yeah. So I ended up watching it during my layover in Baltimore.
The Daytona 500
on Monday. Yeah. So
was that last weekend?
It was last weekend. Weekend. So this past Monday it finished up, and Ryan Newman almost died,
but didn't.
Yeah,
thankfully we'll get to that. But first off, I'm just gonna go chronologically here.
Yes.
So plane ride down. I'm sitting. It's Southwest, so it's kind of that seat yourself type of situation. Yeah, free for all seating. So I'm sitting. I find an aisle seat There's a gentleman sitting window. Obviously, the middle's open, as it is on these until the last possible second. And he had a Ferrari shirt. He opened his laptop, and there was a 488 as his desktop background.
Great.
He had a Ferrari phone cover. I had to look twice because I thought Tristan was on the plane. I mean, but found out it wasn't Tristan. And I was going to talk to him just because, like, oh man, that guy's into it. I gotta have a.
He doesn't own a Ferrari,
but he does. Not only does he not own a Ferrari, but he was creepy as fuck.
Did you talk to him?
I just like, hey, how's it going? Is this seat taken? Whatever type of thing to sit down and sit down. And he was trying to, I think he was just trying to make a joke, but it came off really creepy because he like leaned over to me and like in this whisper, he's like, if you see an attractive girl, you can point at her to sit here. Don't tell my wife, she's in the row in front of us. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Ew.
I'm not going to do anything about it.
Ew.
Yeah.
He thought you were part of the bro cult.
Yeah.
He wanted bro down with you.
He really did. He really did.
He did. Despite what you wanted.
He tried. He did.
Yeah,
he did. He did bro on him.
Yeah. So
Broed all over him.
So it was kind of a buzzkill because I thought, oh, this guy's car culture, if not just Ferrari culture. Yeah, we get there and I land first, so I need to rent the vehicle for my dad and we got full size is the description. So I go down to pick my car and there are Malibus, there are Camrys, there are Nissan Altimas, and there was one Kia Optima left. So I said, bingo.
Oh, wait, you got to actually like pick?
I got to pick.
What?
I got to pick.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, a lot of people do that now.
Do they?
Yep.
I thought that was only like what? There's one company that like specialized in that back in the day.
Enterprise, I think, started it.
Oh, okay.
But we did, a different company, and they let me do it as well. So I picked the Optima because, you know, Tristan and I had road tripped in one, and I knew it was going to be good. And God, that car was cool.
Was it one of the new ones? It was
cool?
It was great. It was really great. I could only pick out 2 negatives from the whole thing. And this is the rental car review, by the way. So like overall it was awesome. The dash, like everything in front was easy to read. It was all in its place. It was where it was supposed to be. I started driving from the rental car area to the cell phone lot to wait for my dad to land. And there's so much traffic going in and out. Instantly, like buzzers started going with the lane assists and the blind spot warnings. And I'm like, well, this is going to be annoying. I wonder if I can shut. Oh yeah, there's the button. Boop, shut that off. Like, it wasn't like you had to go into settings and scroll through a bunch of shit and open the manual up or anything like that. It was just good. Super simple, straightforward. I mean, gas mileage was phenomenal. Like we were in the upper 30s basically the entire time.
Nice.
If I could pick 2 negatives, and I think these could be very easily rectified just by a different car, because I did have a rental. It was like the bare bones base model type of thing. My head, if I were to sit straight up, hit the ceiling. I think with a power seat, I could just lower it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But this was a manual seat, so I wasn't able to do that. It was just forward and back. So I think that could be easily rectified. The other one, and this just could be because I'm used to riding in a pickup truck with a wider windshield, the field of vision is pretty narrow out the front and rear.
That's kind of a Kia thing, though. I've
it is, honestly, at this point, it's kind of a car thing.
Yeah, that is true. It's
like everything kind of slopes inward at the front and rear now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was never like, oh man, I'm fearing for my safety because of this. But I always, like, when I would look in the mirror or try to check a blind spot or something like that, I'd double take, like, whoa, like I really can't see that much.
Yeah. It
just took some getting used to.
It's becoming worse though, I think. And only in specific brands. I mean, Subaru has managed to keep good vision from all angles, even if it kind of, I think maybe it's like vision or sleekness, quote unquote. And I think that's the choice that automakers are being forced into at this point.
Yeah. But overall, besides that, I mean, the car was great. I was talking to my dad about it, and he was even into it. A guy who is 20, we did that episode where we had like the history of family cars, and it was 20 plus GM cars.
All in a row.
Like, he's like, oh no, I've been I've been talking to your mom about trying to get this to replace the Cadillac.
Dun, dun, dun.
He's like, I really like these things. These are great.
Yeah.
Like,
surprisingly.
Oh, wow. You got my dad even? Damn.
Sneak up on you a little bit.
Good on you, Kia. Fantastic car. It was really, really good.
That's good.
Yeah. So
All
a positive rental car review. What else did I notice in Daytona? Man, Toyota was pushing the Supra hard. The GR Supra was everywhere. I think I sent to you. I counted 7 of them.
I saw that too. Well, not all, but a lot of the coverage I saw on Twitter was related to that. Like there's a dude doing donuts in a Supra, and there's just like, okay.
So the gates at Daytona are like sponsored by a major corporation. So there's like Advent Health has a gate, and then,
of course,
Exalta, like the paint and primer and coating company, has a gate. And then you can, like, once you go through that gate, they can basically decorate like the escalators going up to the seats how they want it. Like it's their own little space to do what they want. And Toyota has a gate. So going up the escalators, they have like show NASCAR cars. So like all of the Toyota drivers are like going down the escalator at you, which is kind of a cool look.
That is cool.
But all around it, at the base of the escalators, there's 4 Supras there. And then you get to the top of the escalators, and there was 3 more Supras there.
Wow. Wow.
All different colors. So there's like the candy apple red and the black and the silver and the white and the yellow and the light blue. And it was just like, pick which one you want. Here they all are. Here to take a look at all their glory. They also did have the like an overlanding Tundra setup.
Okay,
Tundra with a bunch of camping gear, but
trucks.
Outside of that, super, just shoved down your throat, man. Did not enjoy any of it.
And what was the was that weekend also the official announcement, or
I think they announced it like the week leading up to
of the they're going to launch a 4-cylinder Supra.
Yeah.
And the GR is
the GR, right? The Gazoo Racing Supra.
Yeah. Man, my first reaction to the GR Supra news was, they let him have the M package tuning. That's great. Because I don't think, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't think Toyota is going to put enough effort into this to either make or have Gazoo tune that car themselves. Also, why would they? Why would they put that effort into it? There's an M package ready.
Yep.
Right now. And they can just probably have that. Is it same power? Do we know?
I didn't see any specs on it. I wasn't interested enough to go over and look at the plaque.
Me neither.
So
I wasn't interested enough to click any of the links.
Nope.
Not one. Not one image.
And not a scenario one.
Exactly. And they sent a ton of them at you, I imagine. So
they killed the cool Toyota. Are there any left? There's no more Celica. Supra's gone. The
TRD sedans.
I mean,
the TRD Camrys.
And
I
Avalons.
like them, and I respect them, and I enjoy the fact that they're doing it. That the TRD name hasn't been related to car performance for long enough for me to think it's cool. I like the TRD Camry.
Would you be happier if they named it the Gazoo Camry?
Yeah.
Actually,
I would be.
The Gazoo Racing Camry?
I would be.
No, not racing, just Gazoo Camry.
Well, that's GR, though.
Yeah, GR is Gazoo Racing.
But yes, I would be happier if they named it the Gazoo.
So Thursday night was the qualifying races. Daytona is different because outside of just single car qualifying, you actually race to determine your position. Last year we skipped it because it was so boring every year because no one wanted to wreck anything.
Right.
So like everyone just, and NASCAR has like a franchise or a charter system. So a lot of these guys are locked in anyway.
Or weren't people not going out last year?
No, people were going out, but they weren't like...
Or like going out at like... I remember there was something that they had a problem. There were like no cars on the track at one point.
That's for other qualifying at other places.
Okay.
That's a different issue. But no, they would just go around and ride in a line.
Right.
And that'd just be it. So they decided to spice it up a little bit this year and said... not only are we determining starting positions, but the top 10 finishers in each of the qualifying races, there's an odd qualifier. So like all the odd finishers from the single laps, and then all the even finishers they're in separate races.
Sure.
So top 10 in each race get season points.
Ooh.
So they actually had to try a little bit.
How many points?
I think it was just like 10 through 1. So if you won it, you got 10 and you're...
Oh, okay.
But for Sunday races, for the normal races, you get points per position. So if you win, you get 40. So it's actually like an extra 10 positions.
Yeah.
So if you won the thing, so it's a pretty substantial amount to start the year off.
No kidding.
And it worked. Like it was actually pretty entertaining.
Okay, that's good.
So, I mean, good on NASCAR for that. It was, I told my dad, like, normally I'd say, let's just skip it. But because of this points thing, let's just give it a shot, see what it does. And it worked very well. I thought they were, it's that drafting traffic, right? The big packs. So there were people jumping on a line, trying to work with one another, the bump drafting, the whole thing. Not to the extent that the race got on Sunday/Monday, which turned into a shit show as usual. But they were aware enough to know that the points are good, but I still need to preserve my equipment for when we're actually getting
race,
for the actual race.
I think there's designated people on the team to remind them of that specific point.
Yeah. So it actually made for I was pleasantly surprised at the Thursday night races. Do we want me to just go through race by race here, or do we want to just stick on the main points?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Was there any, you would know more. Was there anything too crazy on Xfinity or anything?
On Xfinity? Not really.
Because that would have been, would that have been the next day? No,
the next day was the trucks.
Right, yeah, trucks first, yeah.
So the one thing I wanted to touch on there, so Grant Enfinger won. Cool, good on him, congratulations. He won by 0.01 of a second, It was a photo finish. It was a really good finish. And the guy that he was racing with to the finish, they were bouncing off each other, coming we thought they were going to wreck each other.
Jesus.
So, but I wanted to touch on the guy that he beat, Jordan Anderson, who finished second, is like a full-on independent DIYer.
Wow.
It was like my dad and I were pulling so hard for him when he kind of came out of nowhere. He was just kind of riding around for most of the race, and then. They're coming out of turn 4 straight at us to take the checkered flag, and we're like, wait, is that? No way.
But it was.
And he came out of nowhere. And so, this guy owns his own... he's probably our age. He hustles to get all his own sponsorship, owns his own trucks. I think he has 3 or 4 people that work for him. His crew are all volunteer that he just scoops up as he goes week to week. He's the shop manager. He drives the truck. The truck is a dually with a gooseneck. It's not even a full-on semi-tractor trailer like all the other guys have. He is straight up do-it-yourself, just scrape, claw to get to the track. And he almost freaking won Daytona.
That's crazy.
It was so cool. Even to see him finish second.
Yeah.
Was so cool. Those are those little stories that come out of this stuff that is damn, that's what this is about.
It's in truck too, which, doesn't get a lot of love.
It doesn't get a lot of love. So good on Jordan Anderson. Hopefully he can keep that momentum up.
For sure.
And have a good rest of his 2020 season. And maybe someone takes notice and actually gives him a little help.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right. Earn yourself some help.
Hey, see what this guy can do?
Yeah. That's the way to do it though, honestly. That is the best way.
That was pretty cool. Saturday, Noah Gragson was the winner of the Xfinity race. He's a 21-year-old from Vegas. It was his first career win. Again, good for him. Nothing really crazy happened in that one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It was a decent show. It was pretty entertaining. They went one really long green flag run where they had to get through pit stops and everyone got separated, and there was a pretty big lull in the middle. Josh was hanging out in the back, our friend Josh Balicki, just kind of staying out of trouble. He was up at one point. He was flirting with the top 10 when they actually started going at the end, and people were actually started giving her a little bit, and he he was mixing it up with those guys. 15 laps to go. He has a right rear tire go flat.
Oof.
At 190 miles an hour.
Damn.
In the corner. Doesn't hit a thing.
Nice work.
He spins it around. Luckily, no one hits him because they're all very tightly packed, obviously, at Daytona. So good on the rest of the field for avoiding him, but he keeps it off the wall. He keeps it off the grass so the bumper doesn't get torn up mowing the lawn. Pulls in, stays on the lead lap, gets his tire put back on, and a couple other people wrecked because it's the end of a NASCAR race, and that's what happened. Mm-hmm. And after starting 32nd, he did bring it home 21st. So, nice. I mean... Not too bad considering.
Yeah.
He probably, at worst, he probably needed a change of underpants.
So considering that there was a blowout and you lose the tire, usually that's like game over.
Definitely.
People hit a lot of people hit the wall or whatever else.
Right. So good on Josh. Quick thinking, quick hands, and
good work.
Kept the nose clean on it. So, and it was a smaller team that he was running for too. So it was like I heard him on the radio, like.
Thank God.
Well, no, right at the beginning, he's like, I know you guys want to keep the nose clean because we're saving this car for Talladega, which is the next big plate race in April. Like, this is like the one that they have. So, there were some sprinkles on and off in that one. I actually caught a couple of good radio clips on the scanner from that. Like, about halfway through, some rain started falling under a yellow flag, and the leader was saying, hey, just want to let you guys know, got raindrops on my windshield. And they're like, okay, cool, thanks for letting us know. And about a minute later, they came back to him and said, pace car driver says it's fine. And the driver goes, yeah, of course he'd say that. He's doing 50 miles an hour with windshield wipers.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, good job. Thanks, NASCAR.
It's fine. It's fine.
So stuff like that was kind of funny to listen to. You pick up on those throughout the race. So Sunday really never happened. They got 20 laps in, and then the rain came. Mm-hmm. So fortunately, I wasn't able to see the big one.
How long were they sitting before the red flag it?
Let's see here. So the green flag was supposed to fly at like 3-ish. Mm-hmm. There was a little bit of a rain delay before that. It happened like twice this weekend. It was like, gentlemen, start your engines, drivers to your cars, rain.
Yeah, like formation and pace lap, and rain, and then forget it,
and then everybody out of the car. Yeah. So that happened. They got
I watched that on TV.
They ran 20 laps. So I think it was probably after the first rain delay. They were probably an hour and a half late anyway. Mm-hmm. So they got 20 laps. It was probably like 2 hours that we sat there, and then the rain wasn't letting up, and they just said, you know what, fuck it. And actually, NASCAR deleted the post, but someone in my party screenshotted it, which was really funny.
Nice.
They tweeted, drivers back to your cars. 4 minutes later, the race has been postponed to Monday.
Yeah, you might as well just delete that one.
So they deleted the drivers to your cars,
as well.
But we had it saved on a screenshot.
That's funny.
So they thought they were going to see a break, and then it started raining hard again. Yeah. So it was really weird because like the entire week there was never more than like a 20% chance of rain.
But you hit that 20% every time.
It hit a square in the nuts every time. So
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I ended up having to. I watched it on my layover in Baltimore on the flight home, but
because Southwest does do free TV.
Southwest does do free TV. That's right. But I actually watched it at a bar in the Baltimore airport.
Woo!
Yeah. So crab cakes and racing. Woo!
I mean, honestly, when you put it that way, it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. So. Yeah, and then obviously everyone was talking about the Newman wreck at the end. And that was it was a tense flight home because we saw it right before we got on the plane. Yeah. And Fox went off the air without giving any updates.
Yeah, I saw the last thing that Jeff Gordon was like, and we hope he's okay. Have a good night, everybody. It's what?
Well, so then... my dad was on a different flight, so he had landed before I got back to Milwaukee, and then I knew a couple other people back home here who were watching. So as soon as I landed and turned off airplane mode. I started texting out to everyone like, what's the status? And my cousin-in-law texted back and said, the safety crews used a tarp so the fans couldn't see what they were doing, and they told the media to clear the infield before they got him out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. That's not good. And the crazy thing, like, he was out of the hospital 2 days later.
Yeah, that's the thing. He is okay.
Walking out of the hospital.
Like, he walked out of the hospital 2 days later.
He is okay. And
the only thing I can think of is, like, a major concussion. Like, I don't even know. Like, it didn't look like any bones were broke either.
I just think they don't fuck with it. I don't fuck around with it anymore. I really think that they're not playing with it.
Yeah.
In case they do walk up to the car and he is dead.
Yeah.
You get that all over the media? No. Like, that looked bad enough that we want everybody out of here?
Yeah. I get that. I get that piece. I'm saying, like, the way how long it took him to extract him out of the car, and the fact that we're skipping the infield care center, we're taking him straight to the hospital, and all this stuff. Like, you would have thought that even, they did say the next day that, he was awake. He was like, great, cool. And the injuries were non-life threatening. Great, cool. But, like, with all of that, to walk out of the hospital 2 days later?
But that's what I'm saying. I really think, it's not necessarily like there's been a rash of horrible crashes. However, there's been at least one highly publicized, appalling crash in IndyCar, which was that last year, 2 years ago?
Oh, the Wickens crash.
Yeah, Wickens crash was 2
years ago
now. Coming up on
2 years. Coming up on 2.
I think I don't know if NASCAR thinks one thing or the other about the way that was covered and the way that was handled in IndyCar, and obviously Wickens is doing better, and
we just posted a video on our page. He stood up to accept an award,
all that stuff is all great.
Awesome.
I think it's possible that NASCAR kind of watched that and just said, all right, we're not doing any of this anymore. If this happens, this is the way we go. And to be clear, I think that doing all of that, in the event of a crash like this, direct to care, clear the infield, blah, 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 I believe that is 100% the right way to handle it.
Yes. Sure. And I think they've also probably seen stuff happening in other sports. Like,
absolutely.
Like, where, like, people and the NFL, like,
getting paralyzed, or
it's like, really but you don't know it right away.
Yeah.
Like, who was the
Shazier was the Steelers
Ryan Shazier, when he paralyzed himself, for lack of a better term, is what actually happened. That was horrible. I thought I just saw him die.
Well, yeah. Well, and then there's other stuff like
I did not watch football for a year after.
Like, I forgot, because we're recording, I'm thinking about other stuff. Forget his name, but the Bears tight end.
Yeah.
Zach, wasn't
it? Zach something.
Yeah.
I totally forget.
But, like, okay, he's got a horrific knee injury, but he's fine. We can take our time. And one of the EMTs was like, no, that's his popliteal artery bleeding all over the inside of his leg. We need to get him to a hospital right now. Mm-hmm. So, like, I think they've looked at, like, seemingly inconsequential injuries turn into disasters, and they're like, we're just
Alex
not gonna.
Smith.
Yeah.
Alex Smith. And they did take the not lackadaisical, but they took the more relaxed approach, like, oh yeah, you've got a really bad break to your leg, and he almost lost the leg.
Yeah. Same. Yep. And it's like, okay, let's get everybody, no matter what it is, let's get them to the hospital right away.
That is the right way to do
what's
it.
going on. So
At
that's
that
what
point,
I think. So
yeah, that's
yeah.
No, I'm not. I just, like, I thought it was going to be worse the way they were handling it. I'm happy it wasn't, and they handled it right.
Yeah.
But it hadn't been handled like this before. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
NASCAR, the way they handled it was fine. Obviously, the fact that he was able to leave the hospital in 2 days is incredible.
Mm-hmm. It speaks to the cars and the safer barriers.
For sure.
Like,
yeah. I mean, it was a nasty hit. It just makes me think, like, and it's a little different because, I mean, he was 100 yards from winning the race when it happened. Yeah. Like, so it's a little bit different because they're racing to the checker. They're going to get really aggressive. But, like, this racing specifically, this bump drafting, this kind of stuff, like, it doesn't, like, there's big wrecks like that happen all the time. The one that happened on lap 60. Like, what are you doing with 140 to go, pushing people around?
But what you got to remember is, okay, from my perspective, a completely outsider to all this sport, and one of the main reasons I will probably remain an outsider to the sport, remember the way they've advertised the Daytona 500 throughout the entirety of the lead up to this?
Oh, yeah.
The only thing they show is the crashes.
Crashes and fights.
from the crashes.
Yep.
And man,
does it make them negligent to this? Because like they just the risks. Like, well, it doesn't.
Well, the phrase
it doesn't have to be that way though.
It's like, so that was the weird like cognitive dissonance that I had when they're talking about this particular wreck. Like, that's terrible, and we hope he's okay. Always followed by, but that's NASCAR. Like, yeah. Should it be?
Or that's the 500. Was one that I heard.
So like
once he was okay, then it came out to be that's the 500.
They're just racing.
You never know when the big one's gonna hit.
Yeah, and the thing is, like you said, that's how they promote it. NASCAR doesn't want to change it because of the unpredictability. That puts eyeballs on TVs. That puts butts in seats. But here's the deal: like NASCAR doesn't have an incident responsibility penalty,
right?
Like in IndyCar, in IMSA, if you cause a wreck, they park you for a lap or a stop and go or a drive through. Local short tracks, if you cause a wreck, you go to the back of the line with the guy you took out. Like
yeah.
NASCAR, you just run through them. We don't care. Maybe and I'm thinking back to there was 20, 30 laps to go, and Joey Logano just pushed a car into another car and turned them both around and triggered like a 19 car pileup, and he kept going, no problem. Well, what if they park his ass with all the other cars that they park? Maybe he won't do that anymore. Like, and it's just, if there's besides the fact that you might be involved in it and get your stuff tore up too.
Yeah.
There's no consequence for just running through somebody at 200 miles an hour.
And let's be honest, even championship points, blah, 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 is Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, any of these names. If they're pushing for first in the final 10, 20 laps and they happen to wreck half the field, do they really give a fuck?
Well, especially not in Daytona because they got 35 other races. They got 35 more races to go.
Does it really matter? I feel like it doesn't.
Probably not. You're probably right. But I'm thinking like a bigger picture here. Like, what if there is incident responsibility? What if there is a no bump drafting rule? Like, you can draft if you push someone in his bumper, we're going to black flag you.
See, I think it's interesting.
Because the drafting doesn't turn people around. It's when you because they constantly push on each other, and then if they don't hit them square,
they spin them.
They spin them.
Absolutely.
Like
a pit maneuver.
It's just physics. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Pit maneuvers at 200 miles an hour, and it's dangerous.
Well, you asked the question: Is NASCAR negligent? And obviously, we're not talking about legal negligence. No, because they all sign waivers. However, I think that there's a certain. Well, I wouldn't maybe use the word negligent. I think there's a certain carelessness.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and a responsibility to be better.
That.
I would think.
But there's no inkling of that from anywhere, from coming from anywhere.
Nope.
In NASCAR. It's kind of gross. And I don't have a reason for it necessarily other than as technology has improved in the cars, the chance of someone dying from stuff like this has kind of lessened. And I'd be interested to know, or maybe it's even possible to do something as simple as go back on YouTube and look up like year to year commercials or advertisements for something like the 500, where at this point, the way they advertise that race is exclusively crashes, exclusively violence of various kinds.
Yep.
So, I mean, was there a time before that? Was there a time where that started? I don't know, but that's
they do show close finishes. If there's like a photo finish, they'll do a clip of that. A couple of clips of those in between the crashes.
But it's just I don't care for it much. And I think that the problem that I have in imagining any other scenario is that if you take that element out of NASCAR, short of road courses, which are interesting if not fully entertaining to watch.
Yes.
What else is there? What is there in the sport of NASCAR racing if the crashes are removed, or there are serious attempts made to remove them with penalties or removing bump drafting? What else is there?
Well, I mean, the bump drafting is on four tracks,
right?
Or 2 tracks, 4 races of the 36 race schedule.
But they're the big ones.
Daytona. Yeah, well, yeah. The 2 Daytona races are big.
What are the other 2?
They run 2 at Talladega.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, big. He has big races, not like prestige of Daytona big, but.
Fair. So. Anyways, but yeah, I still think the question remains, what if that is removed from their bigger races, and I don't know attendance figures, obviously, but what do they sell?
Let's be clear, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah. But what do they sell on those tracks if not for that
maybe
stuff?
I'm just bitching just to bitch. I don't know.
And if NASCAR, because essentially,
I just keep thinking it doesn't have to happen.
Right, clearly. But the way I see it is that if NASCAR removes this or puts things in place to try to prevent crashes or quote unquote the big one, that is something that they lose across all tracks, that marketing, not just limited to the ones where there are bump drafting. Obviously, accidents happen on any track and something like a tire blowing can start a huge crash. But they still market the big one specifically at Daytona, but throughout the entirety of the season.
Right.
So, like what if you remove that or if you're NASCAR and you're working to eliminate theoretically one of the bigger selling points or bigger viewer attractions of your sport, what are you doing? What are you working towards? What's the next thing?
Right. I mean,
not in a slippery slope argument type of way, if I'm being unclear, just they're too far. They're too far invested in.
They're too far down that funnel.
In the blood sport angle of it to do anything other than just be like to recodify it. It's not a crash. It's not an incident. It's the big one. The big what? Ooh, watch and find out. You know what I mean? Like they've put too much advertising capital in that to do anything else, especially to ease off.
No, I agree. So yeah, that, the pageantry and the hullabaloo around POTUS being there on Sunday was nuts.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw a picture of his whatchamacallit.
Yeah,
limo.
No, it's not really a limo.
It's like an armored.
The Beast.
Yeah, the Beast.
Why did it take me so long to think of that? I don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, like, you know, I had never seen Air Force One in person before. You know, cool. To see a 747 that low, like doing a circle around your facility was pretty cool to see. Bulletproof vests and machine guns and snipers everywhere on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Like, it was insane. Like, getting in was way harder. Like, there's stuff that, like, track rules, like, you can take in, that when Secret Service is there, they don't give a fuck. You're not getting it in.
Right.
So, like, thermoses or, like, Yetis. Like, people are bringing in, like, Yeti cups. Those are, like, $40-$50. And, like, Secret Service is like, nope. And just taking them.
Oh, my God.
And people are like, I've been coming here for years. I've been able to take it in every day. And they're like, not today. And just throwing them out. Like, and like, in my head, like, if you could hit the president from a distance with a metal Yeti.
Don't think that was the concern, but
no, it's what's inside it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was crazy.
That's interesting. I mean, what else would it be, though? You know, honestly,
you know, where our seats were, we're sitting right across from, like, they call it, like, the Daytona Speedway Club. It's like where the Victory Lane is, and then there's, like, the media center and stuff. There's like a 4 or 5 story building right there. Mm-hmm. 4 snipers along the top of that building, like, staring right at us when we got to our seats. We're like,
oh my God.
Oh man, don't stand up too quick, boys. Like,
oh my God.
So, like, all of that was I've never been at a place where the president was also in my life. So, not saying that I was happy to see that it was Trump or anything like that, but, like, that was an experience.
It's definitely, yeah. It's, the one time I've only ever remotely come close was, where were we coming back from? We were coming back from some trip and landed at Mitchell, and they grounded and halted all tarmac traffic so that Air Force One did a touch and go. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
And this was like probably early 2000s, probably pre 9/11. Like, this was, so it was, but even then they shut the whole shit down.
Yeah.
For probably 30 minutes.
Yep. No joke.
I was in a place with the vice president once, which is almost the same.
Yeah.
As far as security goes.
Yep.
It's nuts. It was shaking down a bunch of high school kids.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, you're getting out of Wisconsin winter in February and going to Florida. So 70, 80 degrees every day. Yeah, it rained a little bit, but cool father-son trip. We had a few other friends with us. A lot of fun. Can't wait to do it again next year.
One of your, well, I mean, where's it rank? Better, average, bad?
I think this one was a little better because it wasn't, even though the rain out sucked on Sunday, but as far as the actual races go, like the Thursday races were much better than I've ever seen them.
Good.
The Friday and Saturday races were not demo derbies like they normally are.
Better.
I remember you describing that last year.
Like more than 7 or 8 of them actually finished this time out of 30, which is actually really good. So this one overall was better.
That's a good point, Justin. That was his major complaint last year.
He's like, well, the races on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were a total waste.
Yeah, look at that. So, what time are we at right now, Tristan?
About an hour.
About an hour. Cool.
We got other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got a bunch of little stories, or we could save this for another time. I have a list from an auto magazine, and their title is 50 Cars You Must Drive Before You Die. My title is Fuck You If You're an Auto Journalist and Have Been for 20 years.
I think we need more time to dissect that.
All right, fine.
We'll do that next week.
That might be a next episode type thing. But,
that's fair.
We got other news stories to hit on before we wrap up.
I have one that's actually of extreme importance.
Okay.
Because this is something that we need to, as a podcast, we need to take a stand against.
Together.
And I hope you all agree with me.
Oh boy.
So the first part of this is kind of interesting. Maserati, did you guys see this? They've unveiled their new mid-engine supercar, which is kind of exciting.
I didn't see it. I heard.
I heard those words.
It's called the MC20.
Okay.
There's no point in pretending it looks anything other than Ferrari. It just looks like a little Ferrari.
It does look like a Ferrari.
220,000. That's cool. I'm down for all of that.
Okay.
However, that announcement had not been out for more than 30 seconds when people were coming with, remember how great the Maserati MC12 was and how beautiful it was.
Oh, God.
That car is ass ugly. And it always was ass ugly. I will not allow retconning of the MC12 as a good-looking car. That car is horrible. That car is a blight. We're not doing this. We're not. They're pulling it up on their phone.
No, I said, oh God, because I have to refresh myself.
Because
I said, oh God, right away because my gut reaction is I don't like that car.
No,
but
it's basically an iteration of the F50, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was the same engine and it was a very fast car. And it was a very technologically, I think you can make an argument that it was a technologically important car, but it was never good looking.
No.
Ever. And we cannot do this. I
62 of them ever produced from 2004 through 2006, it looks like. 2004. Yeah. 2005, 2006-ish.
Yeah. It can be rare. It can be fast.
It could even be good to drive, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely. Who knows? It is not, objectively, it is not a good-looking car. And we're not doing this.
205 mile an hour top speed, so yes, fast.
Mm-hmm.
Is that as measured by Italians, though? So 196? I
swear to God.
You did burn that one in Monaco, didn't you?
I have proof that I wasn't there. That's about all I have.
You conspired.
Yeah.
You're the mastermind behind the whole
collusion.
That's really funny. That is something that we can actually all agree on.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly.
We can't do this.
We did it.
We cannot let this happen.
No, definitely not. And I don't think it's going to happen. Well, we'll see.
One guy tried.
Well, Auto Express, I think it was. Not Auto Express. Automobile has tried. I think this may be a push that comes from Europe as opposed to any American publications, but it's something to watch because what I noticed tends to happen, this is not at all limited to car coverage. This is something that is pervasive and infectious across all media. When someone puts forth an idea, puts forward a concept, and especially in this case, Automobile leaked this Maserati, I think a day or two before it came out. So good for them on getting the scoop. They got the picture right. They got the name right. All of that. Fantastic work. But I noticed that it almost seems to come from their manufacturer. And there are cases, especially when it comes to movies and video games, where I know the buzzwords that get attached to products come from the company themselves. Video game companies have actually admitted this. So for example, with Battlefield 1, it was that it was a respectful war game, quote unquote. Everybody said that shit. In every review you read, it was respectful. It was respectful, it was respectful, it was respectful.
So here's your talking points, everybody.
I think this is one to watch for that, because it's possible that is Maserati's angle for the MC20. Remember how good the MC12 was and looked?
Well, this is like the new one.
Exactly.
You'll really want this one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm going to watch. I think that could happen pretty quickly, and we got to stomp that out. We can't allow it because it's a lie.
Not on our watch.
That's right, damn it.
There will be Twitter wars raged.
It'll just be me. It'll only be me mad at this. That's cool.
And you can go die on that hill.
Yeah, I will happily.
It's a Twitter death.
No one will see me.
It's not permanent.
Exactly, and no one cares about that hill.
Chris Harris might.
He might.
No, he won't anymore because he blocked us.
Yeah, we wouldn't know.
He wouldn't see us.
We wouldn't know. But yeah, so this little Maserati could be kind of neat. However, what does this say about Ferrari? Because this is 220,000 pounds. Let's just equate it to dollars and say fuck it. What is the cheapest Ferrari?
Ooh.
I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah, Tristan, what's the cheapest Ferrari?
Cheapest Ferrari.
Hey Google, what's the cheapest Ferrari?
I mean, you can get used ones for 5 figures, obviously. The cheapest new Ferrari, 100 and...
How much the cheapest new Ferrari? 214.
There you go.
So 214,000. Okay, so
it's right in there.
The same price as the Portofino. Oh, okay. So I see what's happening here. This is the mid-engined Italian sports car for the guy who could buy the front-engine touring car, but is having a 65-year-old midlife crisis. Mm-hmm. And wants to maintain his young and hipness.
His 2/3 life crisis.
Yeah. It just seems like a really weird...
He's going to live to 130.
Yeah, exactly. Which seems like a really weird car to put out, don't you think?
Yeah.
For Maserati, who's, by all accounts, kind of falling apart. They don't really have cars. Do they make the Quattroporte anymore? Do they make the Gran Turismo anymore?
The main thing that I know about Maserati.
They make them.
I don't know anything about Maserati anymore.
I don't either.
I don't think they've updated anything, and they're like Nissan. They haven't updated them in forever.
Maybe that's it, because they had that boom of 4 or 5
years ago.
Yeah, and
they really, really good leasing programs or something like that. Because there was a lot of them driving around all of a sudden.
Let me tell you. So yeah, I don't know.
There was even a couple GT4s racing and like IMSA and SRO.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Yep.
So the Maserati Gran Turismo GT4.
Yeah, I like that. I liked that car when it first came out.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know. This is part of FCA, isn't it?
I do believe so.
Yes.
It's just weird to kind of put this stuff together, because Ferrari's struggling with the name of their SUV that they're also struggling to put out, and I feel like they're going to miss their shot, or maybe I could be totally off base there, but I think that they're going to miss their shot. They've missed the Lamborghini wave. They've missed the Land Rover wave. They've missed all of these waves, the Bentley and the Rolls wave. So,
Aston.
The Aston wave. So they've missed all of this. And something else is going to be coming, but we don't know what it is, of course. But I feel like Ferrari's going to put out their SUV, and then immediately everything will be electric.
Right.
Yeah.
Immediately after that. And then
they'll mark the end of the SUV.
So that's struggling. Alpha, who knows? Maserati, who knows? Chrysler, no. Jeep, yeah.
Ram, yeah.
Ram, yeah.
I feel like that's even coming back.
Ram?
Yeah, I feel like more people are opting for those now.
You might be right. But Fiat, I mean...
Not here.
No, not here, but we assume...
I feel like that was a moment for a while when 500s were a big deal.
It was.
And the Abarth.
Yeah.
it's so weird that they just never seem to push. They kind of put feelers out into these different markets, and the MC20 is kind of another example of this. It's just like a mid-engine car, 200,000. Yes, let's do that. And
yes,
sure.
But it never leads to anything. Even Maserati, who throughout a couple of years built themselves an impressive lineup that was liked and appreciated and looked good, and the talking point at that moment for those cars was that they don't suck like they used to.
Yeah, I remember you could actually own this and drive it.
Yeah,
instead of just own it and look at it in a garage with a mechanic under it.
Yeah,
I mean,
and yet, yeah, it never leads to. Actually, on that topic, I would like to share with you a thought that I've had.
Uh-oh.
It might be deep.
It's Andrew's deep thoughts.
It might be deep.
I'll see if this is deep or
possibly not. Deep thoughts to you.
But however, generally when I think it's not good for anybody.
Okay.
So, and
my soul is prepared.
It does relate. It relates directly to this because it has to do with Alpha and, them dipping their toes in. When we were at the Chicago Auto Show, I got in the Quattro Formaggio, whatever it is. Giulia? No. Is the Giulia the car?
Yes.
Giulia's car. Yeah, that. And the feel of all of the things, I mean, maybe we mentioned this on the cast even. Just the touch, the materials in the interior were trash. They were garbage.
Dodge Dart part spin.
Yeah, I think we did mention that. But that got me thinking. I love the old Top Gear program. I think it's great, and if you are going to try and make an argument that modern car journalism is anything other than a direct result of the old Top Gear program with the old 3 classic hosts, you're completely deluded. They pioneered all of this.
Certainly anything where you're hearing people talk or watching people do things.
But even in the writing, their ability to combine real world emotion, relatable feelings, relatable stories to cars that most people will never even see with their eyes was unparalleled.
Yes.
And I think is really important. But that's kind of an aside. Because what I want to get to is one of the worst things they ever did for car culture. And that was to get in front of a camera for a decade plus and say that the best car that you could ever drive is an Alfa Romeo.
Yes.
Repeatedly.
Because I was thinking about this. It just hit me one more. I was
over and over and over and over and over.
I was washing my hair in the shower, something like that. And it suddenly struck me like, it is so dumb to say that the best car you could ever drive, the best kind of car that you could ever drive is the one that works on one road one time for 5 minutes and the rest of your entire life is garbage. We are so dumb as car people to believe that. And I don't think it's even limited to Top Gear, because when you think about like old American cars, right, which are like we talk about with our TEDs, they're fundamentally disposable.
Yes.
But those were great. And then it was, cars like old 911s, which had, like appalling turbo lag and this and that. But the steering, like one element being good. We are so dumb.
That's Alfa Romeo's. It's always the engine. It's always like, oh, look at that sound. Look at the sound. Whatever.
But that's what
listen to that.
Yeah, listen to that sound.
Yeah.
Exhaust made of Otis Redding.
Yeah.
That's funny. but we need to stop that, right? Isn't it time to take a step back and say, okay, sure, let's pretend that you want a car that's perfect in moments. You can get that in a car that you can also drive. WRX in the driveway. I was thinking something as simple as a Camry.
Yeah. I was gonna say, there are lots of flavors of this. If you want a car that has deeply entertaining moments, I love and will keep for forever. Sure, but it is still deeply flawed.
Yeah,
and it is not the best car you can buy.
Right, and
I would never say that.
but the other thing is, I mean, even to use the WRXs, I think is an interesting counter, simply because the thing about Alphas then and now, as if you read like the long-term reviews on the Giulia, they're just in the shop,
right,
all the time. It's not an exaggeration. It's not a lie. They just have problems.
Yes.
it is so bad. It's so irresponsible to continue to push the myth that you either need to, obviously you don't need to drive any car to be a fan of cars. That's just dumb. But it's so dumb to push the myth that is a desirable quality, that yes, I love a car with a foible.
Yeah.
However, it's not life ruining. For example, my car, I love the fact that it has 3 doors because no one ever wants to ride with me anywhere. However, that is very dumb. 3 doors on a hatchback car is very dumb.
Gears 1 and 2 on a WRX mean I never have to take the dogs anywhere.
They won't stay in the car.
No, they end up in the front seat or through the windshield.
That's right. So that's a foible.
Yes.
The car not working is a problem.
Right.
I just think we need to draw attention to that.
That's a very good point.
And
I think they say it as like, if you're an enthusiast, you need to have one for this experience.
And you need to put
And I think that's part of the, I think the experience is that you need to put up with, I think they almost say it tongue in cheek, like they know it's not great.
Yeah.
It's like I could drive an Alfa Romeo or, a Maserati in their previous crummy form. Or I could drive an AMG Mercedes, which is going to be sublime, and it will go for 200,000 miles.
Right. Mm-hmm. The obvious choice.
Yes.
I don't know. It's one of those weird hookups. And in my mind, that went from a direct line from old Top Gear to Alpha and Alpha today as it exists.
Yes.
Where they continue to trade on with car people that mystique that it's Italian, it's as perfect as it can be. And
it's going to be quirky, but...
And this Maserati, this MC20 circle all the way back, is definitely going to be inside that lineage. And just another example of like, what the hell are they doing over there?
For sure.
I don't know. That's...
I remember they have like... Oh, there's something that they've changed it since then. There was like on their commercials, their saying, was like, driven by the few, admired by the masses is the current one. But I feel like there was something else.
Driven by the few who can put up with it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. That's pretty good.
Like,
it's instructive.
But there was one where it's like it doesn't say anything about quality or how good it is to drive. Like it was all about like passion.
Well,
like,
it probably is just passion.
Right.
Probably like, just the word passion.
Yeah. In red.
Yeah. Rosso, please.
Yes. Rosso.
Oh.
Can we talk about? I wanted to since we started. Can we talk about the G7 Sportback?
The G7 Sportback.
The shooting brake. Not the Sportback.
Oh, the G70 shooting brake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only have one thing to say about it. I am very excited.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
2 words. Yes, please.
For some reason, I didn't save a picture of it. I just want to see.
They released it with the new grill design.
Yes. Which but that
it does look better on the shooting brake.
Right, exactly. For whatever reason, just being a sedan is what makes it look its worst.
Yeah.
It looks best on the SUV.
For sure.
It looks fine on the G70 shooting brake.
Mm-hmm.
But why did they put it on the cars?
The shooting brake thing really annoys me. It really annoys me, though.
Why?
Because I don't like the bastardization of that term. Two-door car, 2+2. Shooting brake.
Yes.
2+2. If nothing else, 2+2 is critical to that, in my opinion. The hatch and the 2+2.
Say what that is a station wagon.
Yes.
Or an estate car.
An estate car.
GV70 estate. G70 estate.
Can we not have one term that's pure? You ruin coupe. You ruin
yeah, by putting 4 doors on it.
Which again, I was honestly okay with because those cars, the original ones at least, what's the BMW or not BMW? The Mercedes that kind of started that, whatever the hell.
That one, and then there's the A7, A5.
They at least damaged the rear seating enough for the shape that it was fine. I was fine with it. Like you didn't want to sit in the back of those. They had backs, but you didn't want to use them.
Nope.
So that was cool. And now SUVs are coupes, which what kind of galaxy brain shit is this? Stop. Someone has to be stopped. But can we not have one thing? Shooting brake is such a cool term. And it was so cool because it was rare.
Yes.
Even cars like mine that have a significant argument to actually be shooting brake, they just aren't because it has 3 doors and not 2, even though it is 2+2 and a hatchback. So can we not have one thing that's cool? Does it all have to be this?
To sell? Yeah. It's marketing.
But it's such a bummer. You already took coupe. Just use that.
I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just the world we live in now, man.
I was looking for one that I liked that I had seen one time when I looked up shooting brakes. Here it is. Probably garbage. I don't know because it's a British car. It's made by Reliant, but the Reliant Scimitar was a shooting brake.
Reliant Scimitar. Yes.
And 2 doors.
Yep.
2 seats in the back. Not a station wagon. Damn it.
Correct.
Not an estate car. Damn it. Shooting brake.
Yes.
That's a thing. And they made like a TT club racer shooting brake concept one time.
That's interesting.
I was like, damn, that's amazing.
There are some custom Ferraris in a 2+2 that
and definitely not an A3 wagon or a hatchback. Same platform, different thing.
It really bums me out. That was kind of like the last bastion for me of things that were cool that people didn't know about. I think it's Tesla's fault.
Sure.
You remember like 3 years ago when some company put out like I don't remember if they were just like an Imagineer kind of like this what it could look like, or if they were a company that would actually modify. But they did like a Model S shooting brake, and it was just a wagon, like a straight up wagon. They didn't even feign an attempt to hide it. And they're like, but this is a shooting brake. And it's like, no, but it's not though. I'm bummed to see that term go.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because if you look at the actual history of the shooting brake, the name even, it's literally a relative of the estate car.
Yeah.
Because it was literally meant to go take people out shooting.
I suppose it would be.
Birds and stuff. So you've got 2 people and all their stuff and dead birds and stuff in the back.
Yep.
And, that was what it was for. You weren't really expecting to put people in the back, so there wasn't a door there. There were seats if you had to take some people, but there wasn't a door. You're mostly going to put a 9-foot long shotgun in the back.
Yep.
And then the estate car is the long version of that because you're doing other things on your estate.
On your estate, correct.
So.
Damn it. Bums me out. Anything else to talk about?
Something critical, actually, before we get
he's got another one.
I have another critical thing. Recently, on this podcast.
Recently.
Yeah.
Last time on the Check Engine Podcast.
I wish we could.
Previously.
At this point, I would clip in all of the abuse that me personally, but us as a threesome have hurled at the Type R.
Because we were right.
Because we were right.
Again.
Hell no, fuck that. I get some fucking horns here. We were right. Honda is backpedaling massively. No. Honda is releasing, a version and a half, shall we say.
Right. They will have 2.5 versions of the Type R when they're done.
One has a wing delete and smaller wheels and...
not even smaller wheels.
No, they're down a size, down an inch.
I thought they were the same size, but they were actually running on softer sidewalls of the same size.
I thought they were 19s down from the 20s.
But either way...
Doesn't matter.
Softer ride, either way. Wing delete for sensible human beings.
Indeed.
Like myself.
I think the wing delete is enough. Like
it looks
awesome with the wing up the back.
With the little lip. Because they replaced it with a little lip spoiler instead, and that looks beautiful. That fixes that car.
Yeah, we were right.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You're welcome, Honda.
Why didn't they make it a hatchback? Maybe that's a separate issue, but they could have just They could have done that.
You could only ask them for so much.
I know.
Yeah, they took a step forward. Can we just?
They did.
Can we just
give them that credit? Encourage them so they keep taking the right steps.
Fine.
Don't tear them down for trying.
Here's my question about this, because it feels like save for they didn't do a reduction in horsepower.
Nope.
However, once again, Honda is following in the footprints of Hyundai with the N and the two variants of the N. Because, again, say for horsepower reduction, the 250 horsepower N has all of the same changes that they made to the Type R. Smaller wheels, less of a wing, softer ride. They picked the right company to follow, if I'm being unclear here.
And they also made the harder core version.
Yes,
they took the air conditioning and the insulation out.
That's correct. So that's what the Type R. I don't think I screen capped that because I didn't.
Hardcore. I don't know. and all
track edition,
sport line.
All indications.
Oh wait, no, sport line's a soft one. Sorry.
All indications are also pointing to the fact that that's not even going to come here.
Yeah, no, it's like the cup or something. I didn't screenshot that because again, didn't care. Yeah, that's a Euro thing. Cars that are worse.
That cost more.
That costs way more.
Yeah.
They are worse.
So straight up, Americans don't buy cars without air conditioning.
Yeah.
And why would we?
We can't. We live almost at the top of where you can live in the United States and still, if not need, would strongly prefer air conditioning in the summer. And we don't even live
in Arizona or Florida.
Where you have to have it or you'll actually die.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
Las Vegas, when you walk outside in August and it's 120.
And your shoes melt to the pavement.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, let's go run a race course without AC in Las Vegas in this new Honda.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that you would, because you'd be able to wear a cool suit. And I mean,
that you would. That's not the greatest example.
But no, because that's the thing. Maybe I'm wrong here, but in my view, all of these cars, and I mean, Renault's made them and Citroen's made them, and I'm sure reputable brands have made them too. It's not just the French. But no, they are
Lamborghini makes them, Ferrari makes them.
That's true. Yes, Porsche, of course.
Yep.
But in terms of like consumer grade cars, for lack of a better term, it is primarily the French brands who are directly tapped into tuner culture over there, who create these triple track hardened. They're basically just meant for people who go to and crash their shit on the Nürburgring. To be fair, these cars probably don't have a very long lifespan.
No.
So
why even put that much stuff in it?
Maybe the AC's not that big of a deal.
He's not going to notice before he pastes it on a car.
So even if it did come with AC, when he wrecked it and fixed it, he wouldn't fix the air conditioning anyway.
That's a good point.
That second radiator is just extra money.
Yeah, exactly.
This dude's not going to care what he's kissing Armco.
Save weight. But no, it is a weird thing to me. It's a very weird choice and like a weird subculture.
Yeah.
To be so into racing, quote unquote, that you don't go race cars, but instead sit in your car without AC, without a cool suit, because these people are not investing money in cool suits.
No, not for driving to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is
weird.
I mean, we have that here too. We have the rat rod culture. We pay a lot for stuff that's shit.
I don't think I can have this debate with you right now.
It's not a debate. Like,
I don't think they're the same though. Let me think about that. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Next week on Check Engine Podcast.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting actually, but I don't think that. Yeah. Anyways, so we were right about Honda. We need to create a list for this year of things.
Yes, things we're right about. So we
that
can
was a big
this
one.
Later.
I am not willing to say that the Sportline Civic is cool. However, it's cooler.
Right.
It's better.
It's
step in the right direction.
I would even go as far as say it's not actively uncool.
Agreed.
Like we determined the Type R was.
Yes. Why didn't they bring these to Chicago?
When did they announce?
Like the week after. It was last week.
That's why.
And who knows what's even coming here yet. So,
well, the Sportline is confirmed for here. You know what? Maybe that was it because it was like a European product launch, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, it seems like a missed opportunity for the Sportline at a minimum.
Yeah.
They had so much space in that booth.
Maybe that's why they pumped the brakes on showing off the Type R, too. They knew they had more that was going to come along the line in a minute, but...
Okay. I like where your head's at with that.
Yeah.
That's probably good enough, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, let's get out of here. I think we already have our episode pegged for next week, what at least some of it's going to be about.
Definitely.
So,
I just have more things to rant about, so yeah, we're good.
yeah, it'll be good.
We're going to do an open episode just for Andrew to lighten his mental load.
There's been a buildup. There's a backlog.
So tune in, folks. It's going to be great. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate you listening, but we don't want you just to listen, okay? We want to interact with you. So reach out to us. Ask us questions. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Tell us we suck. Whatever. Like, we want to hear from you. We have a lot of different ways you can do that. We have a website, checkenginepodcast.com. There we have an email address. It is inbox@checkenginepodcast.com. Reach out to us there. We're all over social media. Tristan is laughing at something.
You didn't hear that? Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
My stomach is rumbling. Loud enough. I'm pretty sure that's going to come through. That was so loud.
I felt it
yes.
through the table.
That was so loud.
Andrew, be hungry. Anyhow, we're all over social media. We are on Facebook at Check Engine Podcast. Andrew, the Twitter is
at Check Engine Pod.
Tristan, the Instagram is
also at Check Engine Pod.
So find us there. Like us, follow us, DM us, do what you want to do there. Please check us out on there. If you're really into what we're doing here, we would love your financial support. Thank you in advance. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/checkenginepodcast, or right at our hosted site on anchor.fm/checkenginepodcast. There is a support button. You can click there and make a monthly contribution for us. Again, thank you in advance. If you don't want to, we get it. That's cool. Something that's free, though, is reviews and subscriptions. So each one takes under 10 seconds. It does not cost you anything. The worst it can do is you are notified when we have something new to put out. So we would appreciate you doing that. Subscriptions and reviews, particularly good ones, help out in the giant podcast algorithm thingy that goes on the interwebs.
It's a big podcast algorithm in the sky.
That's right. So we appreciate you doing that. Fellas, what or who are we thanking before we get out of here?
I mean, I guess it's kind of a thanks, but I just want to throw a little shout out to the Shifting Gears podcast, who have returned.
That's right, they're back
after months of silence. So, I mean,
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the game.
Welcome back, boys. Check them out if you're not listening to us.
That's right. After us, check them out.
Shifting Gears podcast.
I'd like to thank Luck and Vitamins.
What, are you building a Fallout character?
No, sadly, no. Those are not references to special. Those are, in fact, I don't know. We were discussing this before we started. I am surrounded by disease, and so far have not caught it. So,
which is a miracle because you have the weakest immune system.
It's gotten better,
of anyone.
But the big thing is it doesn't ever go away.
Yeah, in fairness, he does get sick, but he never gets severely sick.
And then I don't ever get better either.
Yeah, he's just at risk of perishing.
He just kind of stays kind of sick all the time.
I'll just have a cough for 70 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just stays kind of sick.
But so far, nothing. Knock on wood.
Tristan in Wuhan.
But yeah, don't send me there.
Why? What's the difference? You said you're surrounded by sickness.
That's worse sickness.
Shouldn't be joking about a pandemic.
Yeah, that's not a joke, Andrew. People are dying.
Bad soup. Okay. Get me out of here. I have questions and I can't ask them on air.
Nick, what are you thankful for, or whom?
I would like to thank my Colorado Z71. Put a lot of miles on this week. I was up to Minnesota for work this week and back. Then yesterday, which, folks, is about 5 hours from my house, for those of you who don't know where we're at. Then I was up to La Crosse yesterday to go trailer shopping for the Check Engine Podcast go-kart. That was about a 3-hour one-way trip. I showed up to recording today fresh off of a baptism in Illinois, which was another couple hours the other way. Mm-hmm. So a lot of window time this week. Did a lot of driving, put a lot of miles in the Z71, and handled it beautifully.
Nice.
So thank you to the Chevy Colorado Z71. Thank you to everyone who tunes in. Even if we suck, y'all are awesome no matter what. So we really appreciate your support, and we cannot wait to talk to you again. Until then, take care.